J, J, J is for Julie. You are the voice that we need. We L loved you in the movies. I want to hear you speak every week. She's the hottest little diva with a henna weave. Just say Julie, that's she. Wah, wah, wah.
Before we start the podcast, I want to apologize for the sound quality because we have to film on Zoom because Julie's shooting a movie.
And we also have to apologize for the ending of the show last week because it just cut off, which was not intentional. And some people thought it might be. It was not. I think Benny just got tired of editing and just went the end. But it wasn't. No, that's not what happened.
I somehow deleted the end.
Oh,
like the ending bits.
Oh no, was it good? Hello and welcome to the Just Say Julie podcast. This is Julie Brown and
Benny Lawrence.
Yes, and I'm broadcasting from my hotel room, and you're in your apartment, right?
Affirmative.
Affirmative. I'm here because I'm shooting a Hallmark movie called Craft Me a Romance, and I have one more day on the shoot, and my hair looks like this because the hair guy would not listen to me, and he put my hair in braids and then sprayed it with about a gallon of hairspray and then put 25 bobby pins in it. It was very frustrating. But everyone thought it looked good, so, but now it looks like this. And Benny, talk about your hair. Don't leave. Benny left. Okay.
I felt like maybe the cars were too loud.
The what?
The cars.
Oh, okay. No. And Benny, tell them about your hair.
I know, this is the unveiling. I'm blonde.
I know.
And I resent whoever told me to stop playing with my hair. Even if there are casting directors watching.
Oh yeah, before I forget, I always forget. Please subscribe because we want to get sponsors, like Idaho potatoes or something. We want to get a sponsor. And our theme song is from James Bradford, and we thank him for that. And also, if anybody wants to send us stuff, we're going to create a website so that you can send us things or email us directly, and you don't, have to just DM Benny. And we can get more information from you. So please.
Yeah, I would make the website today, except for my computer is broken.
Always something with her.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
That is cruel.
I know. I don't, I'm sorry. I don't really mean that.
Well, we're not friends anymore. So
we are still friends because we need to keep this podcast going. So right now, doing this movie it's really fun. And I love the director, who is my friend Sam Irvin, who is just amazing and brilliant and really fast. And this is the 5th movie I've done with him. Isn't that crazy? I did one called Out There, which was an alien comedy in the 90s. That's where I met him. Then I did one called My Santa, a Christmas movie, and he's done a million Christmas movies. Then I did one called Mother of the Bride with Gail O'Grady. Squeaky, which is the most epic one I did of all, with Cecily Tyson.
What? Say the name again?
Fat, Rose, and Squeaky. Yeah, I know. I played Squeaky, one of the title characters. I was an imaginary character of Louise Fletcher. You don't know who Louise Fletcher is, right?
I don't know any of the movies you've mentioned or any of the people.
Okay. Louise Fletcher won the Best Actress Oscar for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't remember the year, but it was with Jack Nicholson. Have you ever seen that? She played Nurse Ratchet, and she was really great, and this very kind of mean nurse, but she was very subtle the way she did it. So she was fantastic. And as a person, she was wonderful. Cecily Tyson was a nut job. She never spoke to me until the very last day. Isn't that funny?
I guess I'm just confused. Like, did she have any lines to say to you?
No, but I mean, we're in the same scene. Like, I'm in a scene with her. And like when you're setting up and they're setting the lights and everything, you're like, this is a person in front of you. You're sitting there looking at each other. And I mean, you don't think that's weird that she wouldn't go, hey, good morning, how you doing? Like, No, not weird.
No, because if I was like in character and like I probably wouldn't try and be getting to know people.
You'd be like a snob, like you'd just be like, oh, I'm method actress.
You misuse the word snobby.
You know,
It's not snobby, I don't think. I mean, I think it can be, but like if you're about to shoot, they're getting it set up, I probably would be like needing to just like focus on
okay,
what's in my
about to
head.
shoot, but we're talking about on a set for 2 weeks. And sometimes, you know, we're walking around and we're having lunch and she never speaks with me. That is weird, I think. I know some people do that, but I think it's super strange because you're not.
I
acting
just
like
sort
a
of
human
expect
being.
that on sets, to be honest.
You what?
I expect that on sets.
Well,
I
I
expect
don't.
actors to like be dealing with it however they're gonna deal with it. Cause like everyone is so, all actors are so weird and like mostly they're not, you know, super chummy.
Well, I beg to differ because a lot of times they are super chummy. And it's one of the fun things about being on a set is you can become friends with people and talk to them as opposed to all the hours that you're sitting there. You're just like quiet. Well, I mean, Cicely Tyson didn't do that. She'd go back to her trailer. But like when you're hanging out with people, it's sort of like super fun to talk to them and be like a person. And then being in character the whole time is ridiculous and exhausting. Like you want to,
You, that's how your brain works.
I guess so. Even though my acting teacher, Roy London, the great Roy London, said you shouldn't try to do that because you got to like be in the real world too. It helps your acting. So I think that's true. To just be in a trance. Like I think Sean Penn does that, and there's other people who do it, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the only way they can act, though. Maybe they can't go in and out of reality.
Like method acting.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, but I think method doesn't require you to be in a trance. You know,
I mean, I personally don't subscribe to method acting or like being in a trance, but like if I'm doing like a scene, I mean, I have to like remain focused on it beforehand. Otherwise, I lose it a little bit. Like it takes a lot of concentration for me.
because you're not very good. You mean? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That was
Tough.
no. I don't mean that at all. I don't mean that at all. I'm just teasing you. I'm sorry. That was a mean joke. And
I think just dramatic acting is like doesn't lend itself to being as chummy as
no. You know
comedic
what?
stuff.
I agree with you because when I've done dramatic acting, I had to go a little bit into a thing, but it's not the whole time. That's what I mean.
But
When-
for you, it's not the whole
But
time.
you mean when you're at the craft service table, you're like, I'm in character. I don't speak to these other people.
No, but I don't believe I'm in character, but I might feel so drained that I'm like, I need to just like keep my energy inside me and not like talk to people right now.
Okay. Maybe that is the difference with our methods. That's all. Because I get a lot of energy from talking to the people, you know, and
So does Tom Hanks. Like Tom Hanks, before he starts a scene, will like literally rile up the whole crew,
yeah.
everyone. But like then I saw other people he was acting with, like were not like sort of having it. It's like they wanted to be sort of unnoticed.
Did they get mad at him?
No, but I think like they were like not wanting to stand near him while he's doing that because they just want to
concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to me in Earth Girls, even though that didn't make sense really. It's just that Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey and Jeff Goldblum all wanted to be screaming at the top of their lungs before a take. And it's very hard to concentrate when they're doing that. Like to just go, what's happening? What's going on in the scene? What are my lines? So, I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I just always feel like you're sort of building a relationship with the other people if you talk to them. You know what I mean? Especially if they're supposed to be someone you have a relationship with, you're building it by getting to talk to them or you're feeling more comfortable. I mean, and you're right. Maybe that's just how I do it. Oh, can I say one thing? Today's like the 30th anniversary, I think, of Police Academy 2. 30th or 40th. I don't know, some insane amount of time. And I'm in that movie, and with Steve Guttenberg and all the other Police Academy people. And I was trying to explain it to Benny. She never heard of it. And I was saying, well, one time I heard that Bill Clinton said, we spent the weekend, me and Chelsea spent the weekend watching all the police academies. And she said, who's Chelsea? Okay, can I tell you who Chelsea is?
I guess.
The one and only daughter of Bill and Hillary Clinton. The one and only.
The only kid or the only girl?
The only kid. The only kid.
Oh, okay.
So she's kind of a big deal. And, I think she's like, anyway.
Why? What has she done?
He's their kid, and he was famous, and Hillary's famous. And like, they're such public figures. I mean, I bet you know Donald Trump's children's names, some of them.
Charlie's? Is Charlie one?
What? Eric, Dawn, Ivanka, Tiffany, and Barron.
Why do you know them?
Because I do, because I live in this world.
But I think people my age legitimately don't care.
Well, that probably is true. I just would think you might have paid attention. You don't remember when Barron came on stage after Trump won, and he looked really foggy, and everybody was like, oh, what's wrong with Barron? And I think he was just woken up from sleeping. You don't remember that?
No.
I guess I shouldn't fault you for being so young you don't remember things.
But what do you mean I don't remember things? I think I have a great memory. I just don't care about
were you
that.
Not, so you weren't watching TV when Trump won?
Yeah, no, I was. I thought that kid's name was Charlie or something, or he looks like a Charlie.
His name is Barron, which is a super strange name, right? It's just like the name of an actual position in royalty. They named him that.
I just guess I don't care about famous people all that much. I don't care about, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about politicians or whatever. I'm aware that they have, certain amounts of power and they influence things, but like.
Well, who do you care about?
Katharine Hepburn.
Well, she is a famous person.
Gilda Radner, but they like did things that I care about.
Okay, so you care about famous women that did things that you care about.
I guess I care less that they're famous and more about the work that they've done.
Well, that's partly why you know who they are, though, right?
Through their work?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think we didn't discuss this before, but I think we want to talk about it on the podcast. Benny and I were talking last week, and she wrote a song called If You Think You're a Genius, Does That Make You Not One? How does it go? What's the title?
Oh, so I haven't written the song for it yet, but I came up, like, I have a bit that starts with, if I think I'm a genius, does that inherently make me not a genius?
Okay. I think you're probably the only person who used the word inherently in a song title. But then I said to her, like, I go, well, do you think you're a genius? And she goes, yes, I do. And I go, I think I'm a genius. And then we were laughing because we're realizing probably a lot of people think that, but you don't say that because it's too weird to say, oh, I think I'm a genius. But I feel that I am. And then we decided what we would do we would decide if it was true by taking Mensa tests. We didn't talk about this yet, did we?
No.
Okay. I feel like, see, because I'm a genius and I can't remember. We're going to send away for the Mensa tests, which you can take online or
again with send away.
Yeah, we're going to send. Well, that's right. We're going to send away. We're going to go online and take the Mensa test, or there you can take the test sitting in a room with some kind of proctor, Mensa proctor, who really probably has a stick up his ass. But anyway, we're not going to do that. So we're going to take it online, and then we're going to reveal that we took it and what our scores are. And we decided there will be punishments if we aren't a genius. But Betty took a practice Mensa test, and what happened?
I took the practice test on the like legit Mensa site, and it's too embarrassing.
No, you have to.
I took it, and there were these puzzles, and they look like hieroglyphics, these puzzles, and you're meant to figure out what's the next puzzle piece, basically. And there were no directions of like, this is the order of them or anything. And I got really confused, and it was actually really late at night. And I thought, well, if I'm a genius, my subconscious will be working faster than I can consciously recognize. So I should just go off of my intuition, because my subconscious will lead me in the right direction. I did that for the whole test, and I got a 50 IQ score. 75 IQ is mentally disabled.
Oh my God. Now see, I was taking it and I was killing it, I think. But then Obi got in my face and I couldn't do it. He was just so bugging me. But I felt like I was doing really good. I have no quantitative proof of it, but I'm going to take it again and then actually take the real tests and let you guys know that I probably am a genius. I know that's what's going to be the result. So
no, it's not. You're going to have to wear a dunce cap in the middle of Ventura Boulevard.
No, because I have always proven to be really smart. So I know. And my mom says I'm a genius. So that's proof.
Well, my dad is kind of a genius. He is Mensa. And he said to me that he quote, wouldn't be totally surprised if I tested it.
Wouldn't be totally surprised. Just a little surprised. What I think is funny is that we are sitting here thinking we're going to have proof that we're geniuses. And like, probably so many people feel like that. Please let us know in the comments if you feel you too are a genius, because I suspect this is like a thing people think.
I think I'm going to be a genius and you're going to not be a genius. That's how psycho I am.
I think I'm going to be a genius and you're going to be like, you know, should be taken care of.
That's what I've already tested into.
Huh?
That's what I already got.
Yeah, I guess, right? So maybe there's only room for improvement.
Yeah.
So Benny's been doing stand-up lately, which is pretty great. I applaud her for that. And then it makes me think, like when she talks about it, it makes me think, well, I should do that again. Even though honestly, when I did it before, I literally hated it because it's very stressful. I think it's very stressful. And I was like, it was a million years ago too, right? And the thing I did enjoy was there was a point where I would go to gay clubs all over the country and perform my songs and do stand up in that. And that was fun because those audiences are so sweet and got the jokes, you know. I mean, I also find in straight clubs sometimes they miss some jokes. But I'm going to go watch her do her stand up thing and see if I get possessed by the spirit of I want to try it again. I don't think I will, because stand-up clubs have this super strange vibe too, right?
I mean, I'm not going to clubs. Like, I have been to clubs and it's too demeaning and sad. I think the usual ones, because you get like 2 minutes.
That's
like
it.
Literally, yeah.
2
like at the
minutes?
improv, at the
Doing
open
2
mic
minutes?
improv, you get 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
You can't do anything in 2 minutes.
I know. That's why it's demeaning, because they're just putting you on a stage to be like, no. So the ones I'm going to are like nice people go to them. So they're not the best.
Wait, nice people go to them, so they're no good.
They're not, no, it's not no good, but it's just not like a comedy club.
Okay. Well, I mean, I used to go to stand-up clubs in LA when I was first doing this, and they were so hard because the guy, you know, this was in the 80s, the guy stand-ups, they either looked at you like, will you have sex with me? Or you're just a girl, so you're not funny. That's how they treated you. Pretty much, you know, not all of them, but a large portion of them. Because they're very competitive and they want to be really macho and they want to be the funniest guy in the room. And I still did it, but it was so disheartening all the time, you know. I mean, then you have moments of it being good, but And I got cast on this show called Evening at the Improv, where I was playing a waitress at the improv. So I got to do like comedy bits between the comics that they were broadcasting. That was fun because I could write them and I had control of it versus just being on stage with no control. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. The audience is so out of your control. And everybody's trying to hit on everybody. And I don't know. I mean, that's okay. That's what happens, but it's a little bit creepy. Oh, I have to tell you about something on the set yesterday. I looked around at the crew guys, right? And they're all, I don't know, they're 20s or 30s, early 30s, and they're cute. And one of the crew guys, whose name I shouldn't say, but I'm just gonna say Stuart for now. That's not his name. But I thought Stuart was really hot, like really cute, right? And the thing is, I realized like sets used to be just a hotbed of sexual, tension, right? That's what used to happen. And so like, I'm looking at Stuart and he doesn't want to have anything to do with me. And I really felt like, God, I've totally lost it. Stuart doesn't give a crap. And he didn't, and you're going like, that's so insane. That's so frustrating. Like, whatever, I've lost whatever would attract Stuart in the past. But then when we're posing for the one group photo for the whole cast and crew, he's really tall and I'm short, I'm a 5'2". He says to me, he goes, "You want an apple box?" And I'm like, I want to say, fuck you, Stuart. But I realized just because it felt like an insult, an apple box is this box they give you so you're taller in a shot. And I just felt insulted. And I was over.
But why is that insulting?
Because it was like someone going, "You're short." I don't know. I mean, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough for Stuart. And I guess I wasn't. So I don't know.
Because you're short?
I don't know. It felt that way in the moment. Okay, maybe that's not accurate, but he'd been mentally rejecting me all day. So I just
Okay, wait. I just want to say back to you what I heard you say. Okay. You said you think a guy Stuart is hot. And then you didn't approach him, but you decided that he wasn't interested in you. And then you were sort of stewing about that, even though he made no indication about this, verbally or otherwise. And then for a group photo, he asked you if you wanted an apple box because that's his job, to get you an apple box.
No, at that moment, he was just in the photo. It wasn't his job.
But it is his job.
Okay, whatever.
If he's like a general crew member or something, okay, and he's in charge of the apple boxes.
Right. I know.
And then that made you feel like you weren't good enough. So basically what I hear you saying is you just like think that you're not good enough sort of across the board all day.
Well, not for Stuart anyway. I just didn't feel, I guess I didn't feel that hot on the set, and partly because I had my hair up, which made me feel like I had a big head, and they put me in a baggy sweater. So I just generally felt not hot all day. And I felt like this guy not even looking at me verified it. Get it?
No, I hear you. Yeah.
So it was a little bit frustrating. That's all. But I still had fun otherwise, because especially the other girls on the show, is Jodie Sweetin from Full House. She's really sweet, really nice. And Laura Long, who is like someone I've seen on other things. She's a really nice girl too. And the two other guys that I didn't really get to act with, they were nice. So everybody is really sweet, except for Stuart, who I now hate. I've broken up.
You're gonna like request be fired.
I am. I've broken up with him in my mind. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know we had a relationship. You've never gone home with a crew member, have you?
No. What?
Well, I have.
So wait, so you're layering this with anticipation that he's gonna go back to your hotel with you too?
No, I wouldn't have. No, I wouldn't have done that. I
think you would have.
Wanted to.
I think you would have.
No, I wouldn't have.
I don't believe you. You can say no.
Okay,
I don't believe
I
you.
just wanted him to seem like he was interested in that, but he clearly was not. I'm Julie Brown, so I thought, maybe. So I'm over it now. It just was a moment that I know
You sound over it.
I am. I've completely forgotten about it. Even though I have to see him tomorrow, but I will, I've moved on. So it's just interesting. Like, haven't you noticed that on sets that there's all this sexual tension?
Yeah, but I would prefer to not be sexualized or be a part of any of that.
Okay. I don't know that I think it just happened in the past. It's been a really long time since I went home with a crew cut. I think in the past it just happened. It was just like, it wasn't like I set out to make it happen.
But you were open to it at the very least.
I guess so. Like, how when the sound guy puts a microphone on you and he puts it like right here and it's like kind of really intimate. Well, years ago, I was doing a show and the sound guy was really cute. We kind of like, when he put the microphone on, there was kind of this like a moment. And then eventually we went out. But I have to tell you about him. He had long dark hair and he was pretty cute. And then we go back to his house and he goes, we're in his bedroom, which is way too over decorated with like Indian things, right? And I'm like, okay.
Like what? Please, like India or Native American.
Like too many hides and too much like things that are like, I'm an Indian, even though he's not an Indian, right?
Like Native American.
Yeah, yes. Did I say that wrong? Am I offensive? Okay. So he goes, excuse me for 1 minute. And we're there obviously to have sex. He says, excuse me for a minute. And then he goes in the bathroom and he comes out wearing a loincloth.
No.
Yes. A loincloth. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Like, you're already committed to the situation. So I had to go through with it. But
no, you didn't. Okay, you did not have to go.
It was the 80s. We didn't know how to go. This is not acceptable to me. We didn't.
That hadn't been invented yet.
It hadn't been invented at all. I'd agreed to go home with them. We had some drinks, so it was like, you're on board. And so I did, but then afterwards, in pursuit, because I'm still on the show, he wanted to go out more, and I was like, oh, I'm busy. Oh, like, he was a nice guy, but he didn't understand why I didn't want to go out with him anymore. And I mean, I felt like I couldn't say the loincloth was too much. So I just let it die. But it's weird because maybe who knows? He probably came up with a completely alternate explanation for why I suddenly not into him. But it was truly a horrifying moment. You know what I mean?
I mean, it sounds horrifying.
And you're going, well, and you have to like have a game face. Like you can't go, what? But you want.
You can.
Not in the 80s. You could have.
But you could have.
I probably could have.
You could have been like, this is not a discussed role-playing situation.
I should have. You're right, Benny, as a modern woman. But at the time, I just didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
have you ever done that? Have you ever said this is not going to work or this is not acceptable?
Well, it's interesting you say that because like, remember how we were talking earlier about how I'm not a millennial nor am I Gen Z?
Yeah.
So before the Me Too movement, I had my butt grabbed at work and stuff. And I didn't feel like I was able to be like, excuse me.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
No, I agree. No, I am not saying that I think that you're extremely valid. Like, I agree. Like, once the Me Too movement happened, like there was this acceptance in society of like, okay, we're going to like believe women when they say this, because when that happened to me and when that happened to you, if you had said something, the general vibe was like, you're complaining and you need to just like suck it up.
Right.
Or you need to quit your job.
You're a bitch, right? You're just a bitch. So yeah, there wasn't like an understanding that maybe we don't like everything, or we're just supposed to tolerate it. And the Me Too movement gave us this license to go, I don't think so, buddy, right? But I didn't have that license yet. So I was like, loincloth. So bad.
Dude,
So did
gnarly.
you actually stop? Did you actually tell somebody that at some point? Like, this isn't going to work?
No,
Okay.
because I've had limited partners.
Okay. Well, then. Okay. I understand that. So you didn't need to shut something down.
No, because I was so picky about the people that I was with. Like, it was only people who were very close to me and who would know what I was comfortable doing.
Right.
And I also, when I was in high school, at least, like, consent had already started to become a part of the conversation. So like, if you were gonna make out with a guy or something, hook up with them, they would say, is this okay with you?
They really did?
Yeah.
Wow. And then you'd go, yes, it is okay with me. Like, even before they kiss you, they'll ask you.
Or at least the guys that I was with in the high school that I went to, yeah.
Nice guys. Wow, see, that is like so not a part of, me dating. I wish it was. Because I was in situations that were so not, they were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, actually, you made me think of a time. So those experiences were later in my high school, but at the beginning of my high school experience, there was one guy where like things went further and like maybe weirder than I had wanted, but I did want to like, have those experiences, but like it made me feel really bad and I couldn't like recognize what that feeling was. And I was able to say that made me really feel uncomfortable and bad after.
You did?
Mm-hmm. And he felt really, really horrible. Like he felt really bad because he was like, I had asked you and I did say yes, but like I didn't want to.
Wait,
But that was very complicated.
wait, he asked you and you said yes?
Yeah, he said like, is this okay with you? And I said yes, because I wanted to want to do it, but I didn't actually want to do it.
Right.
So, and that's a very confusing thing.
It's
like a very confusing feeling.
That's my whole, like, growing up was like that. Like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I mean, now I have so much clarity. I haven't gotten into anything like that, any situation that, and I also truly do believe that I'm in, I have control and I have the right to say whatever. But I guess the way the culture was, it really wasn't thought of yet, like that women could shut things down,
Or that it was like okay to shut things down. Like, yeah. I think in that situation, I could have said, I really actually don't want to do this. But then he would have said like, okay, but like, that's really shitty of you to like lead me on like that.
Right.
Right. There is now an acceptance of like, I can say no and still like you. Like that wasn't a thing. You had said no. It would have been like, I hate you would be what's taking it.
You're a bitch. Yeah. You had sex with me. I know. It is so much better now. And it makes me like think back on the different experiences I had, and you get angry thinking about them because you were sort of, not pushed into them, but you were kind of manipulated into them.
Yeah.
And didn't feel like you had as much rights as you actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes me realize a lot of men they just haven't, because now they're more educated about that. And I don't think they knew that women had those kind of rights, right? They didn't think that way. So they just thought, well, once you start doing something, then it's just going to follow through. Right? So it's so better now. So your daughters will be in such a better position.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, I'll teach them that they don't have to hug anyone or do anything.
Yeah. And I mean, I had to tell my son that, because by the time my son was dating, this was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe it was longer, but he said he liked one girl. And this is when, after all that had happened, and he goes, I don't know what to do. Like, do I kiss her? And I go, oh my God, I don't even know what to tell you right now because I don't understand how things have changed. So I said, maybe you better ask her. And he did. And, at that time though, he was like unsure how this was all going to work. And so was I. Like, what's the modern thing? So he did talk. It worked out fine. And he's figured out how to be cool with women. He's very aware of all that. But I didn't know what to tell him at that time, right? Because you don't go, hey, just make a move. And, you couldn't say that. So.
Do you have any jokes?
Do I have any jokes? No. I think am I supposed to have jokes?
Always.
Do I have a joke? Tell me. Like,
you have the little girl.
Oh, but that's going to be a bit in my comedy routine. So okay, let me explain what I'm going to do. I'm re-landscaping my backyard right now. I had a pool. I think I showed you that before, that I took it out. I'm re-landscaping my backyard. I'm excited about it because there's going to be a fountain and rocks. It's going to be beautiful. And then I was thinking that I could turn one corner of my backyard into a performance space. And then I thought, I'm going to do a special from my backyard because that's so cool. I don't have to go into a nasty club to do it. And I can sort of talk about anything because there's not an expectation. I feel like in clubs, there's a little more of an expectation of what the material is supposed to be. So I would say in this next year, I'm going to do my backyard show. And Benny is welcome to do a show back there too. I may let several of my comedian friends do it because I think it's so cool. I mean, we figured out we could get like 40 or 50 people back there and put lights in the trees and it'd just be so awesome. And I'm inspired by this because of Bo Burnham's special.
Inside.
If you haven't seen Bo Burnham's special Inside, which he shot during the pandemic, it's freaking brilliant. And I just thought, oh my God, he did an entire special. He didn't have to have an audience because he had anxiety about performing too, and I think I've always had it, but I pushed past it. And then eventually I went, I don't know if I want to push past it that much, but I still do. I still perform, especially with other people. But performing by myself, I mean, don't you find it stressful?
Until I get on stage.
And then you're fine? I guess that's true. But the build up to it is so stressful to me. Like when I was flying all over the country and you'd go to a hotel and they go, oh, you go on at midnight and then you do a sound check. And that whole process was just like, I was just a wreck. So I stopped doing that. But I thought, I don't think I'll be that scared in my backyard. So I'm going to do that. And I want to do that bit in my backyard. So I'm not going to say it right now. And so I don't know if I currently have a joke. I should. From now on, I will always have a joke for the podcast.
The worst financial decision I've ever made living in LA was not getting a sugar daddy. And the pros of having a sugar daddy, I think far outweigh the cons. Pros are like your rent potentially is paid for. You just like have spending money, which is sort of, unheard of if you're pursuing this kind of thing in your 20s. And like computers, credit cards, like it's all the financial pros are like amazing. The cons are that you have to have sex with old or like super creepy, gross men.
That's a pretty big con.
That is a pretty big con. And also like potential like lifelong trauma.
Yeah.
From those experiences.
Yeah, which I think is certain. Okay, so we're ending the show with Benny's hilarious video that I love, that we were laughing our heads off at night and we were talking about it. I think it's super funny and I want her to continue to do it all the time. But I guess this has been Just Say Julie, the podcast. Tune in next week where we'll be talking about something else. Please subscribe. I will have a joke next week. You're right. I should have jokes prepared. I know. I think this.
Yeah, you're a clown for a living.
I know, but this movie just like sucked every brain cell, along with my dog. Tune in next week and I will have a prepared joke for you. And so will Benny. Bye.
Hey, sexy. Sorry. No. It's not you. It's, your penis. I'm just like, maybe if you, like, put your pants back on. No. I, like, really want to do this. I actually need to because I, like, want to keep my apartment. I could totally try again. All right, 3, 2, 1. I think I'm starting to make progress. Maybe if we just turn off the lights completely. Okay, I'm feeling around for it. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. TBH, that one was like totally on me. I'm really sorry. I just don't know if this is gonna work. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I really want to keep my apartment. One more time. Is it possible we could do something without your penis? I'm gonna kiss you. Now, honestly, all I can think about is that. I'm so sorry, this like totally didn't work out. Is there any way I could still get paid?
Wah, wah, wah.